Last Thursday evening, I walked into my own house and discovered my wife was planning to fake a breakup with me. Not because she actually wanted to leave, but because her friends convinced her it would be a fun little test to see how much I really loved her. I had come home early from work, something I rarely do. The house felt quiet, but I could hear muffled voices coming from the living room. My wife was on speakerphone, and I recognized the voices immediately, her 3 closest friends. The same ones who had been filling her head with toxic relationship advice for months. I stopped in the hallway, hidden from view, but close enough to hear every word clearly. What I heard made my blood run cold. "Just tell him you need space to think about your future together," one of them said. "Men never appreciate what they have until it's threatened." "Exactly," another chimed in. "My cousin did this with her boyfriend last year. He practically begged her to stay and bought her a new car the next week." My wife's voice came through, uncertain but interested. "But what if he just agrees? What if he doesn't fight for me?" "Trust me, honey," the first friend insisted. "No man lets his wife walk away without a fight. He'll probably cry and promise to change everything about himself." My jaw clenched. These women were treating my marriage like a social experiment. Worse, my wife was actually considering it. "I don't know, girls. It feels wrong to manipulate him like that," she said. "It's not manipulation," the friend said. "It's testing his commitment. You deserve to know where you stand in his priorities. If he really loves you, he'll fight for you. If he doesn't, then you'll know the truth about your marriage." I heard my wife sigh deeply. "When should I do it?" "This weekend. Make it dramatic, but not too over the top. Tell him you've been thinking and you're not sure if you're happy anymore." Another friend laughed. "Don't give him any hints that it's a test. Let him sweat for a few days, then see how hard he works to win you back and document everything." I had heard enough. I backed away quietly, slipped out the front door, and got in my car. Part of me wanted to storm back in and confront them all. But another idea was forming. If my wife wanted to play games with our marriage, she was about to learn a very important lesson about her husband. I drove around the block to buy myself some time. 20 minutes later, I returned. Her friends were gone, and she was in the kitchen preparing dinner like nothing had happened.
"Hey."
"Honey, you're home early," she said, kissing my cheek with what I now realized was fake affection. "Traffic was light today," I replied, studying her face. She looked nervous, fidgeting with a kitchen towel. During dinner, she was unusually quiet, clearly rehearsing whatever script her friends had given her. I ate calmly and made normal conversation, while inside I planned my response to her little test. That night we lay in bed. She was restless beside me, probably wondering if she should go through with it. The seed had been planted. Women like her friends don't let their victims back out easily. They push until the plan is executed. What they didn't understand about me was simple. I don't play games with people I love. I won't tolerate people who try to play games with me. If she wanted to test whether I'd fight for our marriage, she was about to discover that I don't fight for relationships with people who don't want to be in them. I don't chase. I don't beg. I certainly don't dance for anyone's amusement. Saturday morning arrived, and so did her performance. I was in the garage organizing tools when she appeared in the doorway, looking like she'd rehearsed her lines in the mirror. "We need to talk," she said. Using that serious tone her friends had coached? "Sure," I said, calm. "What's on your mind?" She took a deep breath. "I've been doing a lot of thinking lately about us and our marriage, and I'm not sure I'm happy anymore." I nodded slowly, as if processing a shocking revelation for the first time. "Okay, what specifically has you feeling unhappy?" The question caught her off guard. She'd expected panic, not a straightforward follow-up. "I feel like we've fallen into a routine, and I don't know if this is what I want for the rest of my life. I think I need some space to figure things out." "Space," I repeated, setting down a wrench. "What kind of space are we talking about?" "Maybe we should take a break. Spend some time apart so I can think clearly." I asked, "I don't know. A few weeks? Maybe a month?" "A month," I said, nodding thoughtfully. "That's reasonable. When do you want to start?" Her mouth opened slightly. This wasn't according to script. You're okay with this?" You said you need space to think, I shrugged. If that's what you need, then that's what you need. I'm not going to force you to stay in a marriage that doesn't make you happy. The color drained from her face. But don't you want to talk about this? Try to work things out? What's to work out? I asked. You told me you're unhappy and need space. I'm giving you exactly what you asked for. Panic started to creep into her eyes. This should have been the part where I begged, promised to change, pleaded not to lose her. Instead, I started moving some clothes to the guest room. Wait, she called after me. You're moving to the guest room right now? Well, you said you wanted space. I assumed that meant physical space too. She followed me into the house. Her composure shattered. I didn't mean immediately. I thought we could discuss the details. The details seemed clear to me, I said, methodical. You want a break to figure out if you want to stay with me. The sooner we start, the sooner you'll have your answer. I packed calmly. She watched, struggling with how far off script this had gone. Don't you have any questions? Any feelings about this? Of course I have feelings, I said. But you made it clear those feelings aren't enough to make you happy in this marriage. So what's the point of discussing them? Her phone buzzed. Probably one of her friends checking how the test was going. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'll call the guys and see if anyone wants to grab dinner tonight, I said casually. Since we're on a break, I figure we should both start adjusting to being single again. The word single came out as almost a whisper from her. That's what a break is, right? Taking time to experience life without each other? I could see her mind racing to salvage the situation without admitting it was fake. By Sunday evening, panic set in. I had gone out with friends, stayed out late, and came home acting like nothing unusual was happening. She waited up for me, something she rarely did when we were supposedly happily married. How was your night? She asked. Trying to sound casual, double quotes, great. I forgot how much fun it was to be out without worrying about getting home to anyone. What do you mean by that? We're on a break, right? So I don't have to check in or worry about making someone else happy. It's liberating. Monday morning, she appeared at the kitchen with a tired face. I've been thinking about what I said on Saturday, she began cautiously. Maybe I was too hasty. Maybe we should try counseling instead. Counseling? I said, coffee mug in hand. You said you weren't sure if you wanted to spend your life with me. What would we counsel about? Work has been overwhelming. I might have taken it out on our marriage, she said. Stress can make you question things, I conceded. But you did say you weren't happy and needed space. Those are serious concerns. She winced. I never said I didn't love you. No, I said. But you did say you weren't sure if you wanted to spend the rest of your life with me. That's pretty definitive. That afternoon, she called and asked for dinner just to talk. I agreed with the condition. All right, but only if you're sure it won't interfere with your decision-making process. During dinner, she tried every angle to walk back her fake breakup without admitting it was fake. Maybe I don't need a full break. Maybe just some changes, date nights, weekend trips, things to reconnect. Those sound like things we could have done before you decided you were unhappy, I said. What's different now? She was trapped in her own logic. If she admitted she wasn't really unhappy, she'd have to explain why she faked the whole thing. By Wednesday, she was getting desperate. She tried another line. Maybe we just don't spend enough quality time together because of work. Okay, I said. But you did say you weren't sure if you wanted to spend the rest of your life with me. That seems like more than a scheduling issue. Oh, so when I said I needed space to decide whether I wanted to be married to you, that was metaphorical? Stammered. There was no good answer that didn't expose the lie. Thursday, she escalated. I made a mistake. I don't want to break anymore. Then you'd better be sure, I said. You've already shown your instinct when stressed is to threaten our marriage. How do I know that won't happen again? She accused me of punishing her. I'm protecting myself, I told her. There's a difference. Friday morning, I overheard another call with her friends. This isn't working at all. He's not fighting for me. Maybe you need to tell him you're thinking about divorce. That'll definitely get a reaction. They're about to escalate their stupid game. And I smiled to myself. That evening, she sat me down with the most serious expression yet. I've been thinking during this break, and maybe we should consider making this separation permanent. I nodded slowly. A divorce? Maybe. Yeah, she said, stunned. Actually, this week has shown me a lot about what I want in a partner, and maybe we're just not compatible long term. Her plan had backfired spectacularly. The nuclear option that should have brought me crawling back made me agree with her. Exactly 1 week after her initial performance, she was pacing the kitchen like a caged animal. I was calmly eating breakfast and reading the news when she cracked. "Stop," she said. "Just stop this whole thing." "Stop what?" I asked. "This act. This whole calm, accepting routine you've been doing all week. You said you wanted a break," I replied. "You said you might want a divorce." "I'm giving you what you asked for." "Shh." She slammed her coffee mug down. "You're supposed to fight for us. You're supposed to care that your wife is leaving you." "My wife isn't leaving me," I said. "My wife is making an informed decision about whether she wants to stay married to me. I respect that process." "There's no process," she exploded. "You're being so frustrating. Help me understand something," I said. "Are you angry because I'm not fighting for our marriage or because I'm respecting your stated wishes?" She couldn't answer. The trap was perfect and she could see it. "I'm angry because you don't seem to care about losing me," she said finally. "I care about being with someone who wants to be with me," I replied. "I care about having a partner who doesn't need to threaten our marriage to feel valued. I care about not wasting my time on someone who isn't sure they love me." "Ah!" She went pale. "I never said I didn't love you." "No," I said. "But you did say you weren't sure if you wanted to spend your life with me. After this week, I'm starting to understand why." Her phone buzzed on the counter. Without thinking, she glanced, and her face changed. "Your friend's checking in?" I said. "How's the test going?" She went completely white. "The test? The one where you fake a breakup to see how much I'll fight for you? How's it working out?" Her mouth fell open. "I don't know what you're talking about, really," I said. "Because I heard every word of your phone conversation last Thursday. The coaching, the suggestion to document it for drama. I heard it all." She staggered backward like I'd hit her. "You heard?" "Yes," I said. "I heard everything." Tears formed in her eyes, but I wasn't finished. "Were you genuinely unhappy with our marriage? Or were you running a psychological experiment on your husband for your friend's amusement?" She tried to explain, but the holes in her story were obvious. "They said it would help me understand how you really felt about me." "And how do I really feel about you?" I asked. "I don't know anymore. I feel like I've been married to someone who would rather manipulate me than talk to me. I feel like you value your friend's opinions more than our relationship. I spent a week being tested like a lab rat by someone who promised to love me." She sobbed. "I'm sorry. I know it was wrong. Do you?" I asked. "Because instead of coming clean, you doubled down when it didn't go your way. You nearly destroyed our marriage for a game." She was crying, and the weight of what she had done hit her. "But I had planned this moment for a week, and I wasn't going to let emotion derail it." "Here's what's going to happen," I said. "You're going to call your friends and tell them exactly how their brilliant tests worked out. You're going to explain how their manipulation nearly destroyed your marriage. Then you're going to decide whether you want to be married to me or married to their approval." "I choose you," she said quickly. "I choose our marriage." "That was easy to say," I replied. "But choosing me means more than words. It means proving you understand what you did wrong and that it can never happen again." "How do I prove that?" she asked. I had thought about this all week. "First, you'll call each of those friends tomorrow and tell them you won't be continuing those friendships. Second, we're going to marriage counseling, real counseling, not amateur psychology. Third, you'll rebuild my trust through actions, not promises. Transparency about where you go, who you talk to, and what advice you take about our relationship." "For how long?" she asked. "For as long as it takes for me to believe you've truly changed," I said. "Forgiveness isn't a checklist," I added. "It's something that happens when I see real, lasting change. But the fact that you're willing to cut ties with those friends tells me you might actually understand how serious this is." She agreed. Over the next few days, she followed through. The calls to her friends were awkward and painful, but she made them. She scheduled a counseling appointment and even deleted their numbers. 2 weeks later, When one friend tried to reconcile after the dinner party, my wife showed me the text and asked what to do. "What do you think you should do?" I asked. "Block them," she said. She did. It felt like a real change. 6 months later, our marriage was stronger than it had been in years. Not because we survived a crisis, but because we established clear boundaries about what we would and wouldn't accept from each other. My wife learned that real security in a relationship comes from honest communication, not manipulation. I learned that sometimes the best way to fight for your marriage is to refuse to play games that undermine it. The test was over. The lesson was permanent. Some boundaries, once crossed, change everything. The key is making sure they change things for the better. If you made it this far, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos you might like. Click on one now, and I'll see you in the next story. See you soon.